Hello everyone, Gainer here from Property Made Simple, where we share extensive property knowledge with you all. So today I think this video is really very interesting and very important because if you are a first-time property buyer, right, I think this video is really catered to you all because personally for me, buying the first home is extremely important. Because if your first home is able to make your first pot of gold, then your second property, or if you are going to do an investment or upgrading, it will be very critical because the money that you are able to get or the savings you are able to get from your first home will be able to be poured over to that particular next property if you want to upgrade or you want to buy an investment. And later from this drawing, I'm going to show to you guys some of the options that you are currently looking at and which one will probably be the best option for you all. So without further ado, let me share with you guys my opinions and probably from there you can understand and learn something from it. Okay, so right now what you see is these are the very common properties that I highlighted, right? So highlighted in blue are the BTO flats and the HDB resale flats. Now the other three I'll highlight in red because these are the ones that may not be really the common ones, which is buying a new EC and buying a resale private and even buying a new launch, right? So why I want to share all these things, because I personally feel that or find that a lot of first-time home buyers will probably land into these two, which is either a BTO flat or resale HDB flat. And most likely a lot of people who try to ballot a lot of times for the BTO flat and they can't get it, they will roll over to buy a resale HDB flat. And because they are still able to get the grants, right? So these are the two very common ones that are highlighted in blue, right? These three red ones are the ones that not a lot of buyers will probably look at as their first property, right? Be it a new EC, be it a resale private, or be it a new launch. Now, why is this so? Because their first down payment or the finances has to be more, right? And so that they are able to qualify to buy these few property types. Now, what I want to highlight in this video, because if you are a first-time buyer buying your first property, right? Now, this choice is really very crucial. Why? Because whatever property that you are going to choose, it probably will be able to roll over to your next property, right? Which is if you are going to look for an upgrading or you are going to look for a property investments, be it buying two investments. Now, a big bulk of the finances, right, really comes from this first property choice. Now, why I say so? Because you probably need to finance, right, the first 5% or the down payment to pay for all these properties. And if you don't have this first pot of gold from the property choice that you are able to generate from, then the money that you are able to use is actually from your own personal savings, right? Rather than the money or the profits that you are able to gain from your first property. And that's why, to me, finding a first property is really very important because you need to have this first pot of gold, right? Because this part is your backup plan, right? Because like what I mentioned, plans can change, right? You probably will stay in your first property for the first 5 years, right? Because subsequently, if your family gets bigger, or you probably need to relocate to another place, you need funds to go for the second property or upgrading or investment, right? Of course, a lot of people probably will look into buying another HDB flat. It's fine. But what I'm saying is that you probably will have the options of upgrading to a private property investments or owning two investments as well. And that's why, to me, finding the first property, the choice is extremely important. Now, of course, making sure that if you are able to afford, I personally, if you ask me from my opinion, if you are able to get a BTO flat, that would be the best, right? Or probably if you are able to get a new EC, or even you are able to get a new launch, these three different choices, if you are lucky enough or you made a good choice, you are able to at least have your first pot of gold so that you are prepared to make that next step in the future if you need to be. Now, having said that, I'm not saying that if you buy a resale flat or you are buying a resale private, you're not able to make that money as well. I think you are still able to. It's just that you have to be really, really careful in making that choice in terms of pricing, in terms of location, because a lot of things needs to take experience for you to be able to choose the right one for yourself as well. So hopefully this illustration will be good for you to understand why having a first property or making the first property move, that choice is extremely important to you. Hopefully you guys benefit from this video, especially if you are a first-time homeowner watching this, right? So that you can really look through at all your different options and understand from what I shared and make a better decision later on. Gainer here, property made simple. I'll see you in the next video.